raining referrals, building a referral ecosystem that runs itself. Now, you can believe it. We did time this to make sure it's raining. At least where I'm at, it's currently just started raining like maybe 5 minutes ago. And Sarah, I think you said it was also pouring rain and your package
Yep.
was getting all wet. So, uh, yeah, very timely, at least for us over here in the East Coast. So, hopefully, not everyone's feeling the rain. Hopefully, there's more raining of referrals as we dig into today's presentation.
Ooh.
So, first things first, some best practices as we're heading into the show here. If you have questions for us, we will have a dedicated Q&A at the end of the show. So stick around for that. If you do have anything that's timely, we'll try to answer it right away. But if not, don't worry. We take every great question. We're going to answer it for you live. Throw it into that Q&A. You'll see it at the bottom of your screen on Zoom. If you just want to chit chat with, amongst each other, like Kelly is here, sending the rain to Michigan, we'll try. It's probably coming your way now. If you want to just chit chat with us or with everyone else on the show here with your fellow agencies, go ahead and use that webinar chat. It'll just say chat as the option. And to get ahead of the question, we will be sending a video recording. It's going to come out to you tomorrow through your email that you signed up with the webinar for. So if you need to use a different email, go ahead and sign up with that one. But otherwise, it's going to go to your email inbox tomorrow around 11 a.m. Eastern. So be on the lookout for that. And I did say you can win a prize. Three lucky winners out there today. So we'll show you how you can win some AR swag. And this is, I tried to go for an umbrella, but our provider didn't have, didn't work out. But we made it happen with some hats because I feel like if you're walking in the rain and hey, if it's becoming fall soon, you might have a bit more rain, So have a hat, keep it out of your, if you have glasses like me, that's, you kind of need a hat. I'm not an umbrella guy though. I do enjoy the rain, so uh, stay forward or stay tuned for that. Now let's jump into our agenda. So first, we're going to talk about the pillars of referral marketing, what you should be thinking about when you're building that strategy, and then we're going to go deep dive into each of those pillars and what you can actually do and take action on to start building this program out for yourself and also have it work for you in the background. So establishing a program and goal, setting up a website and a form, running your marketing campaigns to include referral asks, and then also just how you follow up on them even faster than you are now. And again, we're going to have a Q&A at the end, so just make sure you stay tuned for that. And if you have questions, again, throw them in the Q&A. We do have Donna on the background helping us out and answering any questions that you guys might have in the chat, but everything else will come to the Q&A and we'll answer it for you live. Who are we? If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. We appreciate you. We do one of these webinars at least every month. So we are Agents Revolution. We work with independent insurance agencies and brokers to help with marketing, help with websites, all the other things, and making sure you feel supported. We've been around since 2012. We are currently working with over 3,000 insurance agencies across the country, in Canada, and beyond. We currently have a 99.9% customer satisfaction rating. We try to keep it real. Used to be 100, but hey, things happen and it's okay. We learn from it, right? But we're gonna go over what we actually offer. And Sarah, I'm gonna hand the reins to you because you do this very well. So let us know
Awesome.
what does Agents Revolution offer?
Well, we're going to talk about most of these things today, and I do see some familiar faces in here that probably know this already, but for those who are new or those that just need a refresher, we are a complete insurance marketing platform. So it's not just one product. We got a lot to offer here to really set you up for success. And I would be remiss if I didn't say success 100 times being on the client success team. So we do have our Forge website platform that is more than just a client-facing website. Inside of that, it is action-packed with a bunch of different tools and features that you can use. A lot of those we'll be talking about today, but really there's a lot of different pieces in the back end to help get more eyes on your site, snowballs into good visibility and better engagement. We got Fuse, which is our marketing automation platform that has all to do with sending out automated emails. We got some postcards in there as well. Also something we'll be talking about today and a very, very powerful sister product to our Forge platform. Then we got some add-ons as well. We have business texting, which is designed for one-to-one client communication, as well as the ability to add texting steps into some Fuse campaigns, as well as double up as a live chat on your website if you have one with us. Do It For Me Marketing, as the name implies, is a service set up by our team for us to take care of the heavy lifting for you. So that is equal parts email content and social media content. The theme changes every month, so you can hit the audience that makes the most sense for that content each month, and we'll take care of scheduling and sending out that content for you. Local listings has all to do with how you appear on major search engine directories. So that is tied directly to having a Forge website with us. We take all the information from your website, plug it into our listing software, and that really helps, again, maintain consistency across the board, that all of your information is the same out there in the internet, gives you peace of mind, and also helps people find you a little bit easier. Reputation management, also as the name implies, helps to manage your reputation. Those are some feedback campaigns. I actually just did a webinar on this on Tuesday, so that should be entering our AR Academy shortly. But it's really a great way to keep a pulse on your reputation, how clients are thinking and feeling about you, and you can respond to clients directly and a lot of times convert them into some great Google reviews as well. Then lastly, we got social media, which is a little bit of automation and a lot of content in our content library. With that, you can pick the days of the week you want to post to go out. You can navigate our content library to find some pieces that really speak to you. And you can also share and schedule your own content in there as well. So we got a lot going on over here.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Sarah, for reviewing that with us. So if you're new, hopefully that helped you just get a better sense of what we offer and what we can help you with if you're interested. So I'm Ian. I've been with the company for over 7 years now. Started with Forge 3, so some of you might remember those days if you're an old Forge client from back in the day. Had many roles, content manager, where I was helped build out like the websites for clients, SEO and that sort of thing, and also helped build the versions of Forge throughout the years. So like the content that you see on those websites, written by human, not AI, because that was before the AI times, right?
Mhm.
But now I'm in the marketing team. I was also on the onboarding team a bit too, so that's why I wanted to really bring this conversation forward today about referrals and what I've advised clients to do. And I brought on Sarah because Sarah, you work with our agency clients every day. So
I
tell us a little bit about
do.
yourself.
Thanks. Yeah, I've been with Agency Revolution for almost 3 years. I think it'll be 3 years in a month or so. But I lead our client success team now. So a lot of you I recognize here in today's webinar. Thanks so much for joining. But I've probably spoken to a lot of you, whether you have just launched or you're coming back for a quarterly strategy meeting. And this is bread and butter for us today to talk about because not only was I just talking about referrals and the importance of a good referral system with a client just last week, but my job is to ensure your success. So this is a really good place to be to hear about what you could be doing to maximize results with your referral process. And we'll talk about the fact that there's probably something that you have in place already, but you just need to, I dare I say, rev it up a little bit and get the most out of it.
There you go. Good inclusion.
There we go.
Love it. Well, let's jump into the topic proper then. We're talking about referral marketing and what agencies like yourselves can do to improve what you currently have out there, what you currently have working for you. And the reason for this is we recently ran a survey asking agencies like yourselves, and some of you might be on here that answered this survey we sent out. We were looking into what agencies felt was like their top performing marketing strategy. And of everyone that we surveyed, 49% of respondents did say that word of mouth marketing, which included referrals, was their biggest source of new business, their biggest driver for that, for growth. So, one of the things that we've been looking into, over the course of the last year or so is as we've been working with agencies and trying to help them, get off the right foot in terms of growing their business. What we've noticed is many agencies will, offer, have like some kind of referral program where, obviously whether it's just word of mouth and people are just talking about your agency, and then, maybe you have like maybe you're old school, and you have like business cards that you hand out, and then they end up referring their friend or family member to you. Or maybe you have a more robust system where you actually have a page on your website that's dedicated to it, and maybe you even have it in your email signature right now. So when one of your clients is emailing back and forth, they'll see that, and if they're like, "Hey, I want to refer you." Well, what we've noticed too is that many agencies just aren't doing everything that they possibly could to maximize not only referrals and how many you're getting, but also how quickly you can respond and how you can manage those referrals and relationships with the clients that are actually referring you in a much better way, more efficiently. And just by adding in, a bit of technology here, a bit of automation there, you can still keep that personal touch, but you're able to do it in a way where you can actually turn, those go from occasional referrals into a predictable, self-running ecosystem. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Um, Sarah, do you have anything to add in terms of what this finding? Did this shock you when this came out?
It is a lot higher than I thought, but thinking of the nature of the business that we're in with independent agencies, word of mouth and referrals go a long way. So I think it's just really important to have a uniform process in place because kind of like you said, you could get a nice thing said about you here, a good review, a happy client, maybe someone calls and says, "Hey, I know somebody," but that never follows through, or maybe it
Hmm.
does and the ball gets dropped somewhere. So just having something solidified and in place, and a lot of it, like we've mentioned, is probably something you're already doing, but just making sure you're putting all of the steps in place so that it's the same good service every single time, I think is really important. But this is a really
I,
high number.
yeah, I think part of it too is and we're gonna walk through with you, is a shift. You have to think of it this way. So you have to change what your mindset is in terms of hoping that your clients are talking about you to their friends and family, to actually creating a system that will strategically help you ask for referrals without adding extra work on your plate. So that's what we're going to dive into next when we talk about the four pillars of referral marketing. Now, again, we're going to deep dive into each of these, but we're going to cover them at a high level right now. So as we're talking about these, I would be really curious to know, as we explain them, how many of these do you currently feel like you don't have in place, or maybe you could use some help with? So let us know if let's say you're like, okay, I have something on my website, and maybe I'm pretty good at following up, but I'm not good, maybe I don't really have a good goal in mind, and I'm not really implementing it into my marketing. Then you would just say two of the four. So I'd be really curious. Just feel free as we're talking on this particular slide. So first things first, you have to have a goal in mind of what that referral program is actually going to look like. That means knowing when you're going to reach out, who you're going to reach out to, and how you're going to actually proactively ask your clients for a referral. This is important because if you just go into it and you're not really sure at all, like timing wise, it's more just like, I feel like I want to ask for a referral, which can totally work, and we'll explain that. But having more of a predictable, if we're thinking like the weather theme, like, the forecasters, you can be more predictable of what that referral weather is going to look like, right? The next piece of this is going to be the website. So this means having a dedicated website page that explains what your referral program is, and also has a form that someone can fill out. The cool thing about this too is that, especially if you have clients, maybe it's like they like just walking in your office or giving you a phone call and saying, "Hey, my daughter really needs insurance for her new car." You could just fill out that form yourself too. So we're going to go into all of that, but that's a big piece of it. Think of your website and that form for that dedicated to referrals, right? It's not just like a general quote form or a general service form. It's actually dedicated to referrals, separate and built out for that. That's actually something you can include across the board, not just in your marketing, but like I mentioned earlier, in your email signature and other follow-ups. Then we talk about marketing. This is something that is important because you're probably, if whether or not you're running dedicated marketing campaigns right now, the key factor is that you want to try to be reaching out to your book of business at least 1 to 2 times per month per client. And if you're hitting that, you're in a great spot. Now, if you're a little bit less than that, there's some work to do, but that's okay. It's always, you don't want to do too much at once. Automation does help a lot with that to hit that goal. But let's just think of it this way. There's certain milestones of the client journey as they're with you that are going to be key and crucial. And that's going to be like think of it this way, like that's like the highest satisfaction level. If they give you a review, for example, hey, that's a great time to ask for a referral. And if you can automate bits and pieces of that, even better, because then you don't have to spend that front end time. You just have to wait until they give you that referral and you can follow up with them. And that's what leading into the last one here, having a follow-up system in place so you can actually manage those leads as soon as they come in the door. The best way to think of it is, a referral is someone walking in your door. You don't want them to wait around. You want to get to them as soon as possible because if someone is referring a family member, they probably are aware of some kind of gap in their coverage or from like a personal level, it's like, hey, I know they're paying a ton of money for, currently with Geico or whatever. Sorry, Geico. Uh, I think they could do better, and I've enjoyed working with you guys. So they probably have a conversation with that person before they even refer them to you and having that follow up, not just to the referral being as quickly as possible, but actually following up with the client who referred them in the first place and letting them know, hey, I reached out to so and so. We had a great conversation, and just making sure that they feel like that referral was heard. So, Sarah, what are you feeling here? Anything that you want to add to the four pillars of marketing?
Yeah, just that they are all of equal importance. They just are not four separate recommendations, as this graphic kind of implies. It is a system, and each one feeds the next. So if you skip one, the others might lose as much impact or not be as effective as you were expecting. And the nice thing is if you have all four things running, they kind of help each other to keep the machine moving. And like Ian said, you probably have at least one or two of these pillars in a pretty solidified spot in your marketing tactics at this point. So you can really just wiggle in and ask for a referral, like on top of a review that you just got. And we'll talk about timing in just a second. But really, the important
Hmm.
thing is to meet clients where they are with kind of what you're already doing and just amping that up a little bit.
Exactly. So Megan says marketing needs more attention on my end. Hey, that's great. That's something you know what is not working.
Yep.
That's an amazing thing to start with. All right, I can improve on this. Great. So hopefully as we go through this today and everyone else here, you can take some of those action items and we're actually going to also give you a checklist that takes the learnings from this and helps you just, in bite-sized pieces, achieve these four pillars in some shape or form. So let's talk about the first one then. So pillar one is establishing a proactive referral outreach plan. Again, this is like having that goal in mind, knowing what you're doing before you even start it, and kind of just having it mapped out. Like in official writing, what should your when should you reach out? And it even informs like not just the automation pieces, which we're going to cover, but like to your new team members that you're training, hey, these are key points. If someone is asking about this, or hey, you had a great experience with a client after a claim, these are key points where you should be manually, yourself asking for a referral outside of the automation completely. Like this is just like kind of your roadmap so that everyone on your team is on the same page. So, in this example here, what we're showing are just some examples of like when you can think of that, highest satisfaction moment for your clients. What is like the most important time that they might be willing to refer your agency? You might know this offhand for your own, from your own experience based on like your clients that you work with. It's gonna vary. And as we go into this too, you're gonna see that you can really customize this to how you know how your clients currently operate and based on the communications that you're already sending out. But one of the important things is like, what are those key milestone moments is what we call them. So let's say you get a positive review from a client. That's a key point where if you know they haven't referred you in a while, that's a great time to not only reach out and thank them for that review, but say, hey, if you have anyone in mind that needs insurance, because you're such a, amazing client of ours, I would love to, help them out too. Policy renewals. If someone renews their policy and you had a great experience with that, maybe they even had to, update their coverage for like a life event this year. That's a great moment where, they've had a good experience. They're renewing their policy, which means they're trusting you again for their policy for the next year. So that's a good moment where it's like, hey, thank you so much for your referral. I appreciate you. That's a good moment to ask. Things like resolved claims could come into effect, especially if they have a really good experience. Like, sure, it's a bad experience for them, but as you work through it with them, many times I'm sure you've experienced on the agency side that they might, you know, you've really been that like, guiding light for them, helping them out and giving them that positive experience. The other thing is emphasizing timing. So if you can time it just right and you know your clients well and you know what communications you're sending out, this is key to your plan to pin down, okay, maybe like if I'm sending out these communications, I want to reach out maybe twice and ask for a referral. You don't want to put too much. You want to have a balance because you don't want every email that you send out or every communication and reply to say, "Hey, refer me." Now, flip side of that is you can always inject that into your email signature, and it's not like a heavy-handed ask. It's more, "Hey, it's there if someone is feeling it so inclined." The best way to think of it is what are those key moments? Plan out and make sure that your whole team has buy-in to it. Sarah, pillar one, what are you thinking? What's your experience working with clients in terms of like how far do they have this built out when you're meeting with someone for the first time?
Typically, at the point I'm talking to them, there's a passive ask in an email signature, and then usually this first point here of positive reviews and interactions, they have some sort of follow-up in place because, like we've said, reviews and referrals often go hand in hand, and that is still a great time to ask someone for a referral. And if you're not doing that already, I highly recommend it. But that's about where we see it when I meet with someone. And the good news is there's a lot of room to inject additional asks without overdoing it. And it's really important to kind of take inventory of when you're communicating with people and what organically fits into what you have going. You don't want to start a bunch of new campaigns and go through a bunch of different channels. I think I'll say this in every side, but you want to meet people where they are and do what
Hmm.
feels right for the client, for what they'll be experiencing when they're asked if there's anyone to refer, but also what feels right for your agency and in what part of the life cycle should you be asking.
Love it. That's awesome. Uh, so let's go into pillar two then. So you have your plan mapped out. You know your goals. You know kind of what the timing is going to be. And like Sarah mentioned, email signature. That's your takeaway. First thing you can do right now after our call. Add if you have a website form. That's our next pillar.
Yes.
Add that link to your referral form in your email signature. That's an easy win you can make right now. And we'll see a lot of agencies do that and also like, review us. Like those are kind of the two big links that we'll see in a lot of agencies' email signatures. So a quick win for you for today. So moving into pillar two, this is all about making referrals easy to access. Now, I mentioned earlier, you're going to have different types of clients. Some might want to just call in over the phone, or maybe, they have more personal experience with you, so they maybe stop into the office and say, hey, by the way, so and so that I know needs insurance, maybe give them a call. But then you're going to have people that are just truly mostly engaging with your agency online, from email to going to your website for your self-service forms that you have. Now, why this is important is one, you want to make it super simple for them to actually find it in the first place. So you need to have a dedicated referral page. A lot of agencies we see will call it like, refer a friend. You can call it whatever you want, as long as it's very clear to the end user that what the purpose of that page is. And the other part of it is keeping it simple enough that not only your client can fill it out and give their information, but also they can fill in the information for the person that they're actually referring. Why that matters is because you want to, one, be able to follow up with that referral ASAP, of course. but you also want to reach out to the client that referred them in the first place and, make sure that that touch point is made and that they feel heard that, yes, I gave you guys a referral and you actually responded right away. That's awesome. Maybe I'll think about sending more business your way. Whether or not that person signs up is what it is. But that initial touch point is key to building that first impression because again, if someone is referring someone else to an agency, again, they're probably in need or maybe even an immediate need. Maybe they just bought a car or they've had bad experiences with, a claim with another provider. This is your time to shine. If you can step in because they're going probably shopping around at that point too. So if you can step in, make a great first impression, and you have that personal touch of, hey, Jane sent me your way. I would love to chat with you, about your insurance needs. What can I help you with? And like you're bridging that gap. You have that personal connection with the client that gives much more of a warm lead in that case. So, and the importance of the simplicity is so that they don't have to fill out a ton of form or a ton of fields to actually get this information to you, and you can handle the rest. You can reach out to the client, and then you can reach out to the referral. So Sarah, what are you seeing on the agency side in terms of how they have their referral pages built out? What are some, good tips that you might have for someone that maybe doesn't have a referral form or page or might just want to like spruce it up a bit?
Yeah, the good news is if you don't have a referral form yet, this is as easy as it can be and probably as easy as it should be as when it comes to fields you should be adding. Simplicity is key in this case because
Hmm.
timing is everything. I would invite those to do kind of a gut check if you do have a form out there already. If you tried to refer your own agency right now, how many clicks would it take you? How many fields are you currently filling out? At what point are you like, this is a lot. I might back out of this. This, what we're showing right here of just name, email, and phone is all we need. That is the strictly need to know information that the agents that your agencies need to follow up on that referral intake. Just
Hmm.
simplicity is key here. You don't need it to be more complicated than it needs to be. All of that information can then come afterwards, but you've got a warm lead in your lap right now. You want to take advantage of this timing.
Exactly. And the other point of having a dedicated form on your website is that you can actually get instant notifications. So if someone fills out the refer a friend form on your page, you'll instantly be you and your team will be notified and it will say, hey, so and so gave you a referral. That means you can take instant action to follow up. And we're going to show you what that follow-up process can look like with some technology added to it. But again, like Sarah mentioned, this is going to be the hub of your referral program is your website. So that page should be built out. If you have details around it that you want to include, go for it. Make it personal to your agency and how you run your referral program currently or how you would want to run it and what your future plans are and like build that into your page. Have a form that's simple and just captures the basic information that you need. And then you have everything ready to go. So if someone says, "Hey, I need to refer someone to you, where can I go?" Like Sarah said, how many clicks does it take right now to get you to your referral page, or do you even have one? So this will be an important next step. This is one of those pillars that you kind of need to really function, uh, to your highest standards here. So moving into pillar three, this goes in perfectly with what Casey just said. Casey sends a thank you card after she gets a referral.
Nice.
That's amazing. I'm sure you're probably sending it out personally, which is even better. The cool thing with adding in automation to in marketing to for referrals is that you can automate things like that, Casey. You don't have to, but there is the option. Like you can actually send direct mail postcard to someone's inbox, and you can actually set that on an automation where, hey, 5 days after someone refers someone to me, I want to automatically send out that postcard. That's where the beauty of the automation comes into play. The cool thing too is that you can also pinpoint for your own agency. So this goes back to your plan. Okay, let's see. Based on our plan, we want to maybe send a referral ask, after they renew. We also want to set up an automation when someone does send a referral for like a thank you message via text, via email, via postcard. This is your time to really look at your current marketing campaign layout and your calendar and just figure out, okay, what are like one or two places where you could fit in a referral ask in general? This could, and again, this is taken from the point of like being the automation side. So if you're using a platform like Fuse, you'll be able to do everything I just described. So if you have, let's say you have these campaigns running, in this example here, we're saying, all right, we want to ask when someone after they go through the policy review experience and they renew their policy, great. I'm going to ask them for a referral then because that's when I feel like my clients are the most satisfied with my agency, and I think that that's going to be the best time to ask. Another one is like, okay, maybe we want to fit that into something like after they leave us a review, like I mentioned earlier. This is going to vary. So you can see we have these options here. This is going to be completely tailor fit to your agency and where you want to kind of weave it in because you're probably running different campaigns than what I'm showing here, or you might be running even more. And there's going to be those different touch points that when your clients are most engaged with. So if hey, if a client just, you know, I just got off, went through the process of helping them with a claim. I know that I've been talking with them back and forth for the last week or so. So I know that they're going to respond to that versus just sending it into the void and hoping that they heed the call, right? Um, yeah, and Casey does have reps handwrite. That's awesome.
That's really
But
cool.
automating seems like a good option as well. Yeah, that's
Yes.
the piece that can save you time, give you time back in your day. Maybe for like the special occasions, but then having the automation piece, you can just design your own postcard and have it send directly to their mailbox. It's pretty cool because the Fuse system actually integrates with your agency management data. So you'll have all of that information like their address and stuff, their mailing address that you can just send it direct. It's pretty neat.
Yeah. And like you were saying, Ian, and kind of like what Casey's doing of knowing when to send the postcards out, timing and automation should feel like good timing and not spam because that can get someone from feeling hot to cold pretty quickly when it's just inundating them with an ask. So being intentional on when you're asking is everything. And just like it shows here, right after a good review is given, at the end of a welcome kit. I just did that for a client recently of kind of a checking in with the client on, hey,
Hmm.
how are we doing? Do you like your experience so far? If so, is there anyone else that you can think of that would benefit from joining our agency? So the timing for this is really everything. And
Hmm.
definitely tap into automation wherever you can to save you and your agency a lot of lifting.
Sarah, yeah, so I have a good question for you on this. What would you say is like the most common touch points where an agency that you're working with will be asking for a referral? Like what key moments in their marketing campaigns would they be asking or would you
Yeah,
recommend?
yeah, a lot. And I think I've said before, but the NPS campaigns and surveys, especially if they are using Fuse, that
For
is
like
something
reviews,
that,
yeah.
yep, right out of the box, send something twice a year. Maybe one of those emails is when you're also asking for a referral. Same thing with post-renewal thank yous. So if someone is coming back and continuing to do business with you, they obviously are a big fan and they want to continue doing business with you, and that could snowball into them knowing someone who could benefit from joining and getting a policy with you as well.
Hmm.
So, renewal reminders and thank yous are a really big one. Additionally, client appreciation messages. That's a really good one. And a lot of these are very short and sweet. So it's not like they have to scroll through a long email either. All the information that they need of, hey, thank you. We appreciate you so much. And also, we'd appreciate if you know anyone that could benefit from getting some insurance with us. All of that information right there is really important to have right in front of them and
Hmm.
at the right time.
Exactly. And Megan's asking, what is Fuse? Yeah, that's one of our main platforms. So essentially, it's going to connect to your agency management system and allow you to automate your client communication. So think emails. text messages, postcards, like direct mail to their mailbox in person. You can do all of that through the Fuse platform. So it's pretty robust. It help you save a ton of time with efficiency. So that's what we're talking about here, and that's where you can kind of even use Fuse to look at your current marketing calendar. It'll show you all the campaigns that you have live right now. So whatever system that you have right now, take a look at that. That's, going to be your homework for pillar three is make sure what are those key moments you can ask for a referral in the current marketing that you're running, and then maybe even make a plan, as part of your pillar one. What do you want to change? Like maybe you want to create a welcome kit, and at the end of that welcome kit period, maybe after that first 90 days, and they had a good experience with you, hey, by the way, you can just ask, hey, by the way, do you know anyone that could use insurance because they just had that fresh experience with you? They just signed up through that welcome kit experience. So, yeah. And then we go on to pillar four. I think, Sarah, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like this is where agencies could probably use the most help and improvement
Yes.
area, just because we know it gets busy. You have a ton of stuff going on already. Maybe you get a few form fills that say, "Hey, there's a new referral," and then it kind of gets pushed to the back burner, and you're like, "I'll get to it," or you delegate it to the agent that they're working with, and they eventually will get, a response. But I think what Sarah said earlier is a great way to put it. I think you said, it's someone like actually walking into their office and they're kind of in that lobby area. You wouldn't kind of brush them off and say, "Oh, we'll get to you in, 3 hours." You're gonna respond to them right away. You'll probably even put your phone down. You'll close your computer and be like, you're gonna talk to that person right away because they're looking for insurance with you. So one of the most important things that we found is that speed is important in terms of responding to a referral. So, after that 30-minute period, the chances that someone is going to want to connect with you, or maybe they've just made up their mind somewhere else, is drops by 80%. Now, it's not going to be impossible, like, especially if it comes in over the weekend. It is what it is. This is thinking of it during business hours. A referral comes through. You want to respond to it as quickly as possible. Now, like I talked earlier, that form submission, if you have that as part of your ecosystem with your website form, you get instantly notified. Great. You can reach out, you can grab from the information from that form submission. But take it a step further, and this is where we're going to head into having a dedicated pipeline system that will actually let you not only move them through stage to stage as a new referral, but you can actually assign it to your agencies. So, as part of the Fuse platform, we do have a pipeline tool that lets you do just that. So, if they fill out that form, you'll get that instant notification, and then you can actually go ahead and quickly create from that information that you just got from the form, create a new lead, pick who you want to assign it to. Like maybe it's yourself, or maybe it's Sarah, because Sarah, you were working with that agent that referred them in the first place. You want to make sure it's like more personal, right? So you can actually assign it so then they can kind of work through those different stages. This is important because, again, you want to keep up that momentum of responding as quickly as possible. But like I mentioned earlier, you also want to touch base with the client that referred you in the first place and maintain that relationship and make sure that you keep them informed and up to date on the referral process, especially if it's like a family member or a friend, like they're much more close to them. And if it'll be more awkward if like they don't hear from you for, and then it's like, oh, they did get insurance with them and that they just didn't know about it. It feels nice that they feel like the referral was actually taken seriously. Sarah, question for you.
Yeah.
How are you seeing agencies using a system like this, like our pipeline, to follow up on referrals, or is this something that you feel like could be done better, and something that you're offering improvements for?
Yeah, I do see a lot of people using the pipeline in their process, and for good reason. Like you mentioned, because timing is everything, getting the referral is half the battle.
Hmm.
Following up with the referral is the second half, and both are equally important. So having that follow-up in place of, yes, the instant notifications, but then also having your process in place of who should this be assigned to? I like your point, Ian, on it should be someone that the referral likely knows, so that way it feels a
Hmm.
little bit better. But then utilizing tools like the pipeline to get some follow-up emails in place, to get a text sent to them. That's a really good way to keep the conversation going and to not let that lead die out and go cold, is that you're really staying on them and there's automation in play to make that a lot easier.
Yeah, no, well put, Sarah. And I would add to that too, using a pipeline tool like ours, you can even add notes. So if you can just make sure that it's clear, hey, Jane referred, this new person, so that you have that in the back of your mind, so you know to reach out to them too. And then you
Yeah.
can, make sure the automation is set up from there, which is pretty neat. And it just, again, it saves a lot of time because then okay, this is happening in the background. The form is submitted. It comes to my inbox. I can quickly create that lead and assign it. And then I know for a fact whether it's yourself or someone else, that's going to be worked on that day, hopefully. And they can reach out and follow through that whole process.
Absolutely. And the context of the notes are really key, specifically talking about our pipeline tool. So that way, when you're handing things off, you can know this is
Hmm.
this person's sister. They just got a new car. And so that you can set the scene a little bit more. So that way, it's a much more organic conversation that you're having with the client rather than trying to gather information that you might already have.
Hmm.
And notes such as phone calls and meetings that were held can be logged in there as well, just so that everyone is on the same page as to where this person is in your sales process.
Hmm. And Sarah, I had another question for you because I'm thinking a lot of agencies out there, you're probably thinking like, hey, a lot of my referrals, like it's just a phone call. Like maybe I'm on the phone with someone
Mhm.
and then they just bring it up on the side, like, yeah, my friend is looking for insurance, by the way. Like, could you guys help them out? What would you say to that? Like, is there an easy way for an agency to, not have to send them the form, like actually fill it out for themselves? How would they do
Yeah.
that?
Absolutely. If you have a form on your website and you're on the phone with a client, that's kind of going back to what we talked about earlier with you should probably try to see what the process is of filling out your current referral form because you might have to fill it out for a client if you're on the phone with them. Fire up your website, head over to your referral form, fill out those what we had 6 fields of the client's information and the referrals information, and then you got that moving before you even hang up with the client. Also, when you're on the phone with a client, what might be helpful for
Hmm.
you or agents at your agency is having a script in your back pocket is also really nice to have, just so that you aren't fumbling over your words of, wait, this new business just sort of suddenly appeared. Let me figure out what to do with it. You know what to say, you know where to direct the conversation, whether it's empowering and encouraging the client to fill out the form, or if it's easy enough and you're on the phone, you got your website pulled up, fill out that form on their behalf and get that
Hmm.
process started because that all goes back into timing being everything. And if you can already have a warm lead before you even hang up the phone, that is pretty major.
Exactly. No, thank you. And I think that makes it perfect for any agency, no matter how your clients are sending you referrals, you can still be the one to fill out that form and still follow the whole process. It'll still
Mhm.
send that notification. You can take it through that pipeline process as well. Let's see. So Mark has a question. When you mentioned adding a link to your signature earlier, is there a way to set up a link rather than a URL that says want to refer a friend? Click here. I'm guessing you're asking about the Fuse platform, right, Mark? Sarah, how would you recommend setting that up?
A fuse form or to get to
If
it?
if Mark's on Fuse, Mark, I recognize your name. I think you're on Fuse. So,
Oh, perfect.
how would he go about doing that on Fuse?
Yeah, in the Fuse Form Center, you would pull up the form that you are currently working on, and there is a tab that says Share and Embed. There is an embed code if you wanted to embed that form anywhere else, but you can also copy the link to that form. If you're talking about editing the form itself, you can go in same place in the Fuse Form Center and edit the form, the title of the form, the fields and information of the form, so you can really customize it from top to bottom. But that sharing of the link, if you wanted to stick it into, let's say, your email signature, you would grab that link to the form and probably hyperlink some text in your email signature that says, have a referral for us, click here, or, better verbiage than I can think of on the spot. But very
Hmm.
easy to implement and something I recommend people do after this webinar is just a tiny piece of homework to get things started.
Gotcha. Yeah, And Mark, we'll send you some information, but if you still need help, we'll definitely have someone reach out and let you know. So if you're running into any troubles, but hopefully that helps. We'll make sure we get in touch with you. So good question, Mark. Appreciate it. Yeah, good seeing you again, by the way. Okay. Next up, we want to talk about now that we've gone through the four pillars. Hopefully that's been helpful to kind of help you put those pieces together. Let me know if anything changed. I know a few of you answered, but if anyone is feeling like any of them are a little bit shaky, let us know which ones you're thinking you might need help with, because we'd be curious to know where you currently stand. But all of that aside, let's walk through a journey, what a referral process should look and feel like. So first things first, we're going to have the trigger that's going to start this whole process. That client leaves a 5-star review on Google, and it's from one of your campaigns that you're running, like the NPS campaign that Sarah mentioned. Let's say they click on that email, they, write you a review. It's going to send an automated thank you and also say, hey, by the way, would you like to leave us a referral? At that moment, because that client is super excited to work with you and they have a really positive experience, they're probably going to go ahead and say, yeah, I'm going to refer you. You know what? I have someone in mind. So they'll go to the website that you link to, they'll go to the form and they'll fill it out. What happens next is as soon as that happens, your agency will get the instant notification from that form submission for that referral page. And then it's going to allow you to create a lead in your pipeline system. So you'll have all the information. You can copy paste it into a lead really quickly, and then you can plug in the person that referred them as well so that you can remember to follow up with them. Then what you want to do is take action. So you're going to review their coverage needs. You're going to reach out quickly. Like I said, if you can call before that 30 minutes, great. Within an hour, that's totally good. And anytime after, like if you can't get to it, we know things happen, but remember that timing is important. So where you're able to within your capacity, the faster you can respond using the system like this that helps you really prioritize those leads and new prospects and referrals. That's something to definitely pay attention to and hopefully you can glean from. Uh, and then nurture. So thank the client that referred them. You can do this with automation too. So you could set up an automated campaign that thanks them for their referral. So whenever they fill that form out, you can set it up that they can get that thank you response. Or if you're like Casey, you can send them a handwritten letter, totally valid as well. Um, so Sarah, what do you think about this experience? Is this something that, you think works for agencies? Is there anything that stands out to you as something that's like a quick win that they can, start knocking out now?
Yeah, I first want to say I love the transition between human touch points and that background automation. So you're still going to
Hmm.
provide a human touch at the end of the day, but like we mentioned earlier, it's a lot lighter of a lift now with automation in place. And the triggers and the automation in place to, after a review is left, to immediately go after them and say, hey, thank you. Not only does that in some way reward the client and acknowledge them for, hey, you didn't have to leave a review, but you did. So we really appreciate it. That kind of brings them up mood wise, sweetens them up a little bit, and then you can
Hmm.
more naturally ask for a referral. So I really like that. And I just like that there are plenty of options for automation in place with enough wiggle room for that human touch point to still make it all the way to the client on the other side. So they feel like they're being
Hmm.
taken care of and it's quick, it's seamless, and they probably have no idea how much automation is going into it. They just get a good experience coming out of it.
That's at the end of the day, that's what matters most. You're saving time, you're being more efficient, and then you can focus on those human touch points that Sarah mentioned while everything else runs for you in the background. That's kind of if you look at this experience here, this is like that ideal journey that maybe you don't have every piece in place right now, and that's okay. But this is something to work toward, as we mentioned in those four pillars. This is the result of having all four pillars coming together, and this is that kind of like that payoff. So if you have your automation running, it's going to let this system seamlessly run by itself for you. and you're just interjecting in those key moments where you actually have to talk to the client, which is a good thing, right? And you're actually reaching out to the referral. You're having those personal one-to-one touch points, but everything else can run for you seamlessly in the background with that little bit of technology into the mix. So with that, I just wanted to show some examples, real examples from our platform of how this works. So Sarah, putting you on the spot, but can you walk us through that experience on the Agency Revolution, the complete insurance marketing platform? So if you have like the website, if you have Fuse, if you have, and that includes the pipeline, like how does that all fit together? What does that experience look like for the automated referral workflow?
Sure. So, a couple different ways, but one of those being if you have a Forge website with us, and you also have Fuse, which is taking care of the marketing automation in the background, you do have the ability to embed Fuse forms on your website. So, someone could be on your website exploring different insurance options, going over to the referral page. Super easy to fill out that referral form, and they fill it out. Not only do you then get instantly notified, but there can be some follow-up email communication steps in place to thank the client that for that referral, first of all, but also inject the referred's information into that
Mhm.
pipeline. So then what comes next is moving them through that pipeline journey. So that kind of touches on three different products that we have, and it's pretty seamless once it's all up and running.
Awesome. Yeah, and just to reiterate too, this is, this would be an example of your Fuse email that's automated that you're sending out, and this is something that's like a follow-up. So in this case, it's like a client appreciation message, and it's just saying, P.S. If there's anyone you know who could use a review of their insurance, we'd be happy to help. Let us know by submitting our referral form. Something as easy as that, and like even a P.S. This is one example. That link then leads them to a referral page with a form, something that looks like this, where you're capturing their information and the person that they're referring to your agency and then submitting it. And once that's submitted, like I said, you're going to get that instant notification. You can go ahead and create a lead in your referral pipeline. And just so that you know, in our on our Fuse platform, we do have two pipelines currently that are ready to use out of the box. We have a new business referral for commercial clients, a little bit different. So you can kind of tweak it to the, more commercial, like, business to business. But then you also have a personal lines one as well. So you can split those up if you would like. We have those pre-built ready for you to use in our pipeline journey system. And then moving into the follow-up. So this is how the platform really plays into following up quickly. In this example here, you'll see we have an email that's that is the auto reply. Thank you so much for your referral. We promise to reach out, as soon as possible. This is that touch point that's automated that is making sure that, hey, yep, my referral went through. I know that the agency I just referred to is getting, back to my family member or my friend. And then on this side, we also have an example of what it can look like in Fuse when someone fills out that form. So you'll see all the form results. Obviously, they're blank because this is just a test, but you can see it's going to show their name, last name, email, the referral's first name, last name, email, phone number, and all the information that you need. And then there's also a question, any questions that you have in addition to that, like that are optional. This one is, what is your relationship to the referral? This gives you that context. So okay, this person referred their daughter for their new car. You have the knowledge. When you call them, you have that personal touch right off the bat. You have a great first impression that you can make. This all goes in that form. You can easily throw that into your pipeline when you're building out that lead card for the new referral. So, anything to add, Sarah, to the referral follow-up and how it works with our platform?
No, just one important thing is that none of this requires having any more staff, which is probably good news to a lot of you. It really just requires having the right processes in place and knowing what to do next.
If anything, it makes you more efficient, so you have more time back in your day for those important client conversations. Let this automation part run in the background for you. And then hey, you're at least you're asking for referrals at those key moments, and you're not just waiting for someone to give you a referral. Sure, those will still come through, which is amazing, but you're being more proactive, which is great. So we always love to have a little poll before we get into the fun giveaways. So if anyone is interested in learning more about Agents Revolution, Even if you're a current client, please let us know. I'm going to go ahead and run it now. Um, so if you're interested, we'll have our sales team reach out to you. Megan, go ahead and just answer yes in here, and we'll definitely reach up out to you, chat with you. Um, so go ahead and fill that out. I'll let that run for a few moments, but I do also want to put a plug for Agents Revolution as well. We are currently through the end of August running a limited time summer sales promo. Again, I'm the summer guy, right? Sorry, Sarah. I know Sarah is all about this is fall
I'll
now,
allow it this time.
but hey, we're holding on. It's still summer for me and for the sales team. So if you do end up signing up for either new services with us, or if you're a current client and you upgrade to an additional service, not only are you going to get 50% off setup fees, but we have some pretty juicy offers for you as a thank you. So yeah, if you answer this and you say yes, we'll have our team reach out. And again, if you sign up before August 31st, 2026, you'll get access to this special offer, the end of summer deal. So we want to make sure we can help agencies that are interested in Agents Revolution to get in on the platform and get ready, to end 2026 strong. So feel free to fill that out. But let's go into some giveaways, right? That's what we're here for too. Some freebies. So first and foremost, when we send you the webinar recording tomorrow, we're also going to be including a resource, the four pillars of referral marketing. So it's going to include some high-level information of what we covered here today, but it's also going to include an actionable checklist that you can actually fill out and like keep with you. So if you're like, all right, cool, I got through these few steps, you have these things to work on, it gives you a nice guidepost of where to work from and what to work toward as far as your goals. So I hope you find that helpful. Let us know if you are able to just take, benefit from it and actually are using it. I would love to hear from you. So keep us posted. In addition, we're gonna do a fun giveaway. So we're gonna have a question, and again, the prize is gonna be this hat. Uh, this is pretty limited edition, by the way. We haven't really made too many of these AR hats, but that might change one day. We don't know.
I hope so. I want to have one.
Hopefully, but you guys will be the first to get them. So. The first three people to answer the question that I'm about to show, and you have to answer it in the chat, you'll actually win this prize. So get ready. I'm going to go ahead and end the poll a while.
Get those
Thank you for
typing
everyone
fingers
that
up.
submitted it. Yeah, get ready to type into the chat. Which U.S. state gets the most rain each year? Let us know what you think.
Think about it.
See, we're getting some answers. We got Washington, we've got Hawaii, we got Ohio, Alaska.
Alaska.
I will say one of the answers is right in there, but
Yep.
we've
There's a
got
technicality on one.
okay, I'm gonna call it there. The answer is
Yeah.
Hawaii. It looks like we have three people that answered it. I think that's a trick question, right? Because we all think like Washington, like Seattle.
Yep.
But interestingly enough, it wasn't even like the top list of places that get the most rain, which is crazy. So yeah, it's Hawaii. So let's see. Donna's gonna capture your names and let me know. But it looks like offhand, uh, Gamal, good to see you again. Gamal, looks like you're gonna be a winner here.
Woohoo.
Um, so we'll make sure all the winners are accounted for. But yeah, hats coming your way. Appreciate you playing. Um, so now time for some questions. If you have any questions at all, let us know. I don't see anything in the Q&A right now, and I know we answered a few questions live in the chat. But if you have anything, throw it in the Q&A or throw it in the chat too. That's totally fine
Hmm.
if that's easier for you. But in the meantime, we do have a few questions. Unless Sarah, do you see any that came through live that I missed before I jump into our forum questions?
No, nothing in the
Okay.
Q&A yet. I'll keep an eye on chat, but we'll go off the ones we
So,
have.
so we do have some great questions from some of you folks that when you signed up for the webinar, we asked if you had any questions for us, and some of you did. So we're going to dive into each of these. So if you want to stick around for the Q&A, we would appreciate it. But if not, we totally understand and hope that you'll join us for the next one. And if you want to sign up for a consultation with our team to get access to that special summer offer, we'll put a link in the chat for you just so you can access that. And I'll keep this page open so if you have a fancy scanner, you can use this QR code to grab that.
We do
Um,
have one,
oh,
if you're
okay.
ready for it. Megan
Sure.
asked, what about TCF regulations for the form?
TCF on the form. Okay. Yeah, and this is one of the reasons why we keep it very simple on the forms by default. So, Sarah, I'll have you interject in a second, but for the most part, if you're asking for someone for a referral, or even if you're asking for a quote, you really should just be getting the basic information that you can easily capture, like their contact information, so that you can reach out to them, right? You don't need to ask a bunch of questions that are super specific and might go against any regulations. But if you do it in a way where you're asking for the basics and you're implying that they're giving the consent to reach out to them because you're including that information in the form, then you're able to, make sure you're not going against any potential regulations out there. Now, Sarah, do you have any experience with this? This might be more of your wheelhouse in terms of working with agencies, but do you have anything to add to TCF on the forum?
Not a ton, and just that to reiterate, the simpler the better, and that if there's any more sensitive information, you can ask the client themselves, essentially
On
once
the
they've kind
phone or
of given you
something?
consent. Exactly, yes. So keeping it short, sweet, and to the point is really key here with these forms.
Gotcha. An anonymous attendee says, "Do you work with captive agencies?" Uh,
Mm.
It's an interesting question. We typically are, independent agencies are who we work with primarily. It depends on who you're working with because some captive carriers don't allow you to work with us. It depends who you're working with. So if you're interested at all, anonymous attendee, I would say check out the link in the chat and just book a consultation with our team. We'll talk you through it and see if there's a fit. Maybe there is. Sometimes there will be. It just depends. Every captive carrier is different, so I don't want to misspeak on that. But hopefully, at least you can have a quick chat with our team and see if we're a good fit for you.
Good call.
And then going to the questions, let's see what we've got. So if you have questions, keep throwing them in the Q&A. We're going to answer some of the ones that you guys posted in the thread.
Mhm.
So the first one is, how do you approach an agency that doesn't have a true email pipeline, trying to build new while also bringing in older clients whose reviews and referrals are, quote, better? This is from Joseph, so appreciate you, Joseph.
Mm.
So Sarah, I'm going to throw this your way first, and then I'll add some commentary to it. But what are you thinking?
Yeah, if you don't have a true email pipeline, trying to build new while also bringing in older clients. I think this is the 100th time I've said it on this webinar, but meeting people where they are. If you don't have a true email pipeline, I bet you're still talking to people on the phone, and I bet you can have some scripts ready in your back pockets as well to kind of get people over to the next start phase of your process. Same with trying to bring in older clients. We have at least with our products, different ways that you can get in touch with people, like postcards. Even if you don't even have an email address on file for that client, sending them a postcard and get them some direct mail right in their mailbox can be really helpful to get some attention towards you. Also, like we mentioned before, if you're on the phone with a client and you have the form and you know how to fill it out, filling it out on their behalf is still really effective to get them at the start
Hmm.
of your process. So that might be a really good way to get that started if you don't have a pipeline yet. Definitely, that's going to be a helpful piece of automation, but you can certainly start with what you have going on currently.
I think the other part of it too, Joseph, would be that let's say I'm taking it from the angle of like you maybe don't have everyone's email that's in your client book of business, right? So one thing that our Fuse platform does really well is that you can actually activate a unable to email campaign. And what it's actually going to do is help you throughout the year. It's not going to inundate you with all your however many clients you have at once. It's going to throughout the year periodically say, hey, you don't have an email for this person, but you do have their address or you do have their phone number. It gives you a ta basically it's almost like a task, right? And it's saying in an email, hey, you should be reaching out to this client and get their updated email information. And sometimes people might even sign up with like a a business or personal email that maybe they don't check. So you want to make sure you have the correct information up to date. So I think if you use something like that, or even just on your own, if you can have a list of the clients that you don't have an email for, go through that list, work through it throughout the year, and try to get more and more people on your agency management system and update that and keep your data clean so you have an email so that they can be hearing from you more often. Just to add to that. So hopefully that helps you, Joseph. The next question from Jason. Are there differences between a referral strategy for personal lines and commercial lines? It's a great question.
That
Again,
is a good
like
question.
I said, we do have dedicated pipelines for each. And the reason for that in our pipeline, that we call them pipeline journeys, it actually will give you slightly different messaging. So the real thing is the difference is who you're talking to and the framework of it. If someone is referring their friend that just needs like car insurance, that's a
Mhm.
completely different conversation and different touch point that you need to make with that client and with that referral than if they're running a business and it's like they're, maybe like a butcher shop and they're referring like their lawn care company that they work with or whatever. Bad examples, but whatever. You get what I mean. Uh, they don't really relate, but it is what it is. But let's say that that's the case. Your messaging is going to be different because the relationship dynamic is completely changed from being like a friend or family member and actually like a business to another business. So I think that's where it comes into play the most, Jason, is like making sure your messaging is unique to the situation. And again, that's where our quick start pipelines for both personal lines and commercial lines separately will really help you do that. The other thing to think about is that if you have a personal lines and a commercial lines department that are separated, that really makes it easier so that you have your personal lines department focused on that pipeline and that team that underneath it, and then the commercial lines doing the same thing on their side. So I think that separation helps in that way too. But Sarah, did you have anything to add to this one?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with everything you've said so far. Just to add another layer on top of it is pipeline journeys are already ready to go, like you said, but even
Mm-hmm.
content in our content library, if you were to launch Fuse campaigns, the verbiage, the timing, obviously the audiences
Mm-hmm.
are all different. So I would take inventory of what we have over there. If you're interested in launching any additional campaigns like we talked about, like an NPS campaign, well, that's the same for everybody, but post renewal thank you, welcome kits. Those ones are slightly different when you're talking to a different audience. So I would take a look at what we have, and that can hopefully give you some inspiration on how you should structure your communications for those two different books.
Mm-hmm. And one more question from Ashley, and then if anyone has a question, throw it our way. We're just going through these before we hop off here, but and appreciate everyone sticking around. Hopefully these these are really good questions. So hopefully it's giving you some information, maybe things you didn't really think about. So Ashley's asking, what are some of the best ways to incorporate the usage of updated technology resources for engaging or engaged marketing strategies such as referrals, while also remaining consistent and supportive to our clients that still prefer the old school in-person interactions and tangible pieces of paper? We saw this come in the other day. This is an amazing question from Ashley.
Yeah.
So, Sarah, I'll let you take this one first.
Yeah, absolutely. And we touched on a lot of different examples through the
Mm-hmm.
webinar. So I hope that what the takeaway is it's not just emails and it's not just fully digital. I've said it before, but having those scripts in your back pockets when you're talking to clients to organically kind of spark those conversations, sending the postcards to the clients that who might be older, don't have an email address, or just people that prefer direct mail and flipping through the
Mm-hmm.
mailbox every day and seeing what they got, and then they think of your agency. So meeting people where they are is really my mantra for this webinar, especially when paired with good timing. So it's really easy to post like a paid ad or something, but that can get easily lost and may not hit the audience you're looking to pay attention to. So the channels are
Mm-hmm.
crowded, but personalization and relevance are really what cut through in these cases. Generic paid ads, like I said, they compete with everything, but a message that references something specific to that person, whether you're on the phone, whether you're sending a postcard, renewal date, past claim, it doesn't feel like an ad at all. So if you're more organic with the conversations that you have with someone, where you're having them, and being prepared to have conversations in those different channels, I think you can
Mm-hmm.
still wrap them up into your same referral process.
Yeah, no, that's great, Sarah. And I think to add to that, the other important thing to note is that you should because if you have the system in place, the four pillars, not only are you making it easy for people to refer to your agency, but you're making it easy for your team to say, like someone that's they're more, focused on like the tangible pieces of paper. Great. You can send them a thank you in the mail.
Yep.
And you can do that with automation. Technology can help you do that. If they like to, old school phone calls, you can fill out that form for them on their behalf on your website because you have it ready to go and you can follow through the rest of your process. So because you have these foundational pieces in place in the four pillars, that I think is going to get you the rest of the way there so that you can be ready for anything and ready to serve any client no matter how they prefer to communicate with you. So hopefully that helps, Ashley. But appreciate everyone jumping on here today. Those are all the questions we had, but we've got 31 of you still on here. So thanks for sticking it out for the Q&A session. Hopefully you learned something. Again, thank you, Sarah, for jumping on here. And if you join any of, where can they find you, by the way? Where can they,
Sure, likely in your email inbox. I'm there already because we reach out on a quarterly basis for those quarterly strategy meetings. So if you're due for one, check your email inbox, and there's probably an email from myself or the team in there. I'm also on LinkedIn. It's Sarah Heckman. Feel free to go find me over there. I should probably do a bit more posting. But we also internally, where you can find me, we host webinars from the client success team side of
Mhm.
things every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. You can also hear my voice a lot in the AR Academy, where I walk you through some training videos as well. So the better question is, where can't you find me around here?
Good point. Well, thank you, Sarah, and thank you again for everyone for joining us today. Hopefully, hey, the rain stopped.
I was gonna say it's actually sunny here. I wish that was a joke.
So hopefully now it's not raining rain. It's raining referrals for you now that you have these four pillars in mind. And with that, we hope to see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.